Hey. Oh, got the air conditioner on. I don't know how much, how loud that's gonna be. So you're looking for like the trend line right there, like 297, like right around there. And if we bag it up, there you go, a little point of reference. See, that's the line it's dancing around. And obviously you want it above the line. But it came out of the gate, obviously spiking up to a 320 and then came down to retest and bounce coming back down here. So we might see stock sell off, but in my opinion, I think we'll be all right. What's this telling me here? The stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. Oh, pain in my ass. Well, whatever. We'll fix it next time. Oh, we'll fix it next time. Give me some dubs in the chat if you are up nicely today. Yes, sir. This is easy. Check out some of that SMCI. SMCI looking good as well. Again, you can see this was kind of our shorter term support trend line, right? We were in the tightening here. I was saying, in my opinion, we should pop up. Again, we popped up, flattened, retested fib, moving average, and then boom, 3 green candles. And then, of course, we had the tariff news and we saw a taxi, a nice bump today. So, bang, stock goes up to 58.5. SMCI, my opinion, really should go right there, 61, and then of course our key level there of about 66 and a third. Is this audio working? I don't even know. Big Nick, my man. Love you guys. I love the support I'm getting. And it's amazing how, everything just changes that quick, right? I mean, we're watching all these stocks, everyone's, potentially building positions, and then you're like, oh, what's going on? And then boom, all of a sudden the freaking thing's up 50%, 100%, and that's it, you missed it. So that's why, like we always used to say, pricing and timing. And that's why, again, you're seeing small caps, well, micro caps, really, but, Microbot, HGraph, Like the time to buy those stocks, that's what I mean. Like MBOT, it was in that tight consolidation around $1. That's why I did the video on it, and that's why I continue to update you all on it. Is because again, I don't want to say anything matter of factly, because I told you guys that I used to be a broker. So when I would call people on the phone, when you speak to an investor about a stock, you have to speak specifically, and everything you say, you have to say like purposefully. So you can't, well, I mean purposefully, but also at the same time, you can't say anything matter of factly. And here's my NASDAQ break as I'm sitting here live. Do I think SMCI fills gap from this morning before 66? SMCI filled a gap. Did you talk about that? I mean, honestly, it really shouldn't fill that gap, to tell you the truth. What's up, Deli? You can see we popped up again. Look at this. Perfect, right? Got my trend line. Look at that. Boom. Right to the trend line. Comes right down to the trend line. Completely flattens out. Basically pennants, below bull flag. And then boom, we're off to the races. Hasn't come back down since. So the one thing I would say is the gap fill here on the daily for SMCI, definitely possible. Back to, that was the high. Yeah, about 54.5. I mean, definitely possible. You'd need a big red turn on the NASDAQ, in my opinion, because, again, the current news cycle, the current headlines are in favor of tech, right? So even if SMCI comes down, it should really come right back down to this trend line and close right there if markets do sell off. It really technically shouldn't break and gap fill, in my opinion. Of course, anything can happen, but SMCI really is on the up and up. You see the same thing with AMD today as well. Again, AMD jumped up, as we see here, 172.5. Stock hit new highs. Honestly, I wasn't even aware of that. No one said anything. New 52-week highs today. AMD, 174.70. Again, we started to do our videos on this channel. I want to say it was around like 120. And we caught the sell-off continued. So we were a little bit early. And we had people buy in at like 120, 115. Some people added in the low hundreds. And then, of course, you had the breakdown to 80 or 76, wherever it went. 76, it's right here. But, obviously, since then, it's up huge, right? Since then, it's up huge. And that's what I mean. That's why when you look at a situation, right, again, we were in this downward channel. And we bought it, yeah, it was like here. It was like here. And I just thought, it would kind of hold this trend line. And you can see how I did the update as soon as it approached this lower trend line here, which was around 107.60, I want to say. And then as soon as we started approaching that level and started to move again, that's when it was back on everyone's radar, right? So, a situation like this, if this is a brand name company, that's why I was saying it's a brand name company in the space, right? The growing demand, tech demand, AI growth, whatever, it's going to raise pretty much all boats on the water, right? So that's why I said in my Trump video, and I spoke about several months back, I said, in my opinion, I would look for the backup tech players. Give me those AMDs, give me those SMCIs. And you can see how they beat them up and stormed them right back. Again, SMCI all the way down to 17. Look at this, all the way down to 17.25, made new lows, instantly spiked back up to almost 50, right? So that's why I say, you can't keep a good man down. And in my opinion, you can't. And something like SMCI, again, it's really supposed to be at 66, in my opinion. 66.1/3 is going to be that key level you're looking for. And again, we spoke about the tightening, and we spoke about the break, the quick retest of the 20-day, and then just 3 green candles in a row and sharply shoots up. So that's why, in my opinion, now it's on the up and up here. It really shouldn't come back down and retest this support. When are these earnings? August 5th? Yeah, it's a week. I mean, it really should be on the up and up again. It might go like all the way up here to like 61.70 and then like come down $1 or $2 and then like bounce up maybe to 66 going into those earnings, right? Chances are somebody like SMCI, whose name has been trending for a while, and people are going to say, they're going to jump on board the earnings. They're going to see how the company does. they're going to expect them to beat based on the rest of the reports that we've been getting from the rest of the tech sector. So that's why, in my opinion, I do think it runs to the mid-high 60s, maybe even spikes up above this trend line going into earnings. But of course, we know nothing's guaranteed. You cross that bridge when you get to it. Silver, shout out to all my silver players. Silver been doing very well, getting up to 39.5 an ounce. Still sitting here holding 38. You can see it comes down. Look, it comes down to about 37.5 and then it bounces. And that's when it ran up to about 39.5 an ounce. So that's why silver is on the up and up. And we spoke about this after we got above our long-term trend line. We spoke about silver climbing to these new highs and now following gold, you know, just a little bit more delayed. In my opinion, I actually do think silver continues to go up, but see how we had this hard spike up and then like a slight dip and then a higher high? I think, in my opinion, we come back down here and actually retest here. And then it might bounce again. But just thinking out loud. HGraph just absolutely huge. Discord going wild for the phenomenal breakout. As you see, new all-time highs here, almost 63 cents a share. And look, we have to go all the way back here, right here, first video right there, May 7th. It looks like stock was at about 11 cents. Did an update again over here at 8.5 cents. Did another update over here at about 12 cents. And the whole time I was saying, if I had liquidity, I would be accumulating shares, building a position, looking for the breakout, looking for the positive news headlines. And obviously, as you see, the stock is breaking out and hitting 63 cents a share. So looks like it's also slowing down, a little consolidating taking place, but it really should bottom out and go and make a higher high, potentially 65 cents. And this is why I was saying again, when we got above that top trend line, that's why I was saying, in my opinion, you may see 50 cents, 80 cents, right, dollar plus. You may see that instant breakout. And now you're starting to see it again, day after day. You're seeing these 10, 20, now 30% moves as the stock continues to climb and hit not only new 52-week highs, but new all-time highs as well. So that's why, again, you know, a lot of people, you may not be extremely stock savvy, but it's a bigger deal than you might realize, which again is why I was so pumped about it. And I know, unfortunately, right now I only have a handful of viewers, so only a few of you are going to hear this. But again, I've been fully transparent. I've always disclosed if I took a position, if I analyze a stock in a video and give my opinion on it. I always let you know in the comments if I have a position, if I don't have a position. And HGraph, this is 100% for you all watching. I had no liquidity. I was unable to pick up any shares of HGraph. Even still today, I do not have a position in HGraph, and the stock is already up several 100% without even really getting any big breakout news headlines. So again, you know, you're welcome. And it just, I just consistently show you who's who in my line of business. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Do we dollar? What do you want to do? You want to average up on HGraph? I mean, you could, Nick, right? But also at the same time, remember, OTC stock, and you just had the breakout. So if there were people over here who kind of bought on the rumor, and now we have the volume pouring in here, I mean, technically they're going to sell on the news, but this was, again, a pretty straight up breakout. So you could have profit taking. So, you know, I'm not opposed to averaging up, if you will, but also at the same time, just understand you are still technically buying a pre-revenue OTC stock. They swing, they're very speculative, right? You know this, you see how much it's up and how quickly it's up. But again, you know, a 27% move up today, I mean, we could drop, you know, 30, 40% tomorrow and give it all right back, come back, retest the trend line, retest the moving average, and then bounce. So, you know, kind of hard to call. I mean, if we're talking about really long term, then yeah, I guess you could take the approach where if you have any extra cash, you could just continue to buy HGraph shares every chance you get. And it might turn out to be a phenomenal strategy, but technically it's still up in the air. So, again, I just want you to understand the risks involved. I want you to know that nothing is guaranteed, no matter how well a stock has been performing, how well we called something. Southern Sky, what's up, buddy? Feels a bit like selling the rips, buy the dips. Keep this ongoing thing. Cheers, cheers, gangus, cheers. Oh, man. Yeah, I just wanted to go live. First of all, it took me about 20 minutes to figure out how to set it up. My apologies. I never went live before. And I had to like make a broadcast setting in OBS, and then I had to link it. It wasn't linked to the YouTube account, so like it didn't have a matching URL. It was like a whole issue. There's a freaking stream key you got to put in. But figured it out. And I figured, again, everyone seems to be having a pretty good day. I'm not hearing any negativity from anybody. And of course, we have two companies that we were watching for a while, Microbot and HCraft, breaking up, breaking out, and right now showing people a lot of green. So I figured I'd just come on and sit here, and we could just watch the green together. What are we thinking about sound? Let's see how sound's doing. Yeah, so you can see we have like a potential kind of tightening, little triangle-ish kind of taking place, but not really. Let's see here if we go from the low here. What is this? 652. 652. Right, and if we just come up, let's go to the body right there. Okay. So it looks like we're in a downtrend, right? The last time we touched and tested the moving average, you had a bounce. I'm sorry, I have a cigarette in my mouth. You could see the last time we came down here to the moving average, you had a little bit of a bounce, right? We came back down, tested the moving average, had a little bit of a bounce, but we're making kind of these lower highs, right? And even though we're making these higher lows, you can see that we're kind of technically trending downward here. And as we were testing the moving average now, you can see yesterday it tested it, right? Let me zoom in. See? Yesterday it tested it, and then you can see today it broke it, right? So in my opinion, it could come down here. 1090, we'll call it 1090. Earnings. Unless markets really turn red, then something like this should technically hit support as it did back here and bounce and stay above support. And then, of course, if they happen to come in light on revenue, or if it's slightly wider than expected loss, then that'll be the catalyst to cause it to break support, right? But also at the same time, again, Voice AI, right? Small up and coming stock. We were talking about it back at $1.50, $2, right? And the thing broke up again to 25 a share. Another phenomenal call by yours truly. But more importantly, again, small up and coming stock, and even though it could be viewed as overvalued, looking at the fundamentals, again, AI company, right? So people may just continue to buy shares and just continue to hold their shares for the long term and just tuck it away for a couple of years. I'm sure, obviously, there were people out there trading it, and you're going to have your option plays on the, what do you call it, for the earnings. But I don't know. I don't know. See, sound, I feel like, could also kind of go either way, right? And we've seen this happen with a lot of stocks that climb up as well. Now, granted, I like the stock, right? I still like the company for the long term, but market cap $4.5 billion. This quarter, we're expecting around 33 million, right? So you could definitely make the argument that you're overvalued. So that's why I just want you to understand that even though it's trending, even though it's an AI stock, nothing is guaranteed. And again, if even something is just slightly negative or slightly below what analysts might have been looking for, that might be the reason to drop it back down into like the 8s and potentially the high 7s and meet up with some of these trend lines here that we were speaking about. But right now you're looking at about 1090. Yeah, I don't know if I would do sound. If you're looking for an earnings play, in my opinion, I think we have PayPal, right? Tomorrow, like before the open or something. Maybe PayPal calls, in my opinion. That's something I would personally maybe consider rolling the dice on. But again, earnings are 100% a gamble. Please understand the risks involved. Everybody wants live streams. Well, you know, sometimes I don't feel like talking to you. How about that? 13.5 strike. Hey, listen, I wish you the best of luck. Yeah, no, Nick, I mean, it's hard to time, and see, this is the problem, right? Either you didn't take the situation seriously at the time, which happens, or, you know, you loaded up and used all the liquidity you had, so you could only buy X amount of shares. But, you know, either which way, again, this is why we try to get involved before the pop happens, right? Because now that the pop happens, you know, that's unfortunately, that puts me in a rough situation, right? Because, again, in my opinion, it can spike up tomorrow, it can double up, it can go to $1, right? So if we say, oh yeah, just keep buying, and you dollar cost average up, then yeah, you know, it's not going to matter. You bought more and it continued to spike, so it was a great call. But again, as we said, if it pulls back and retests one of those trend lines, all of a sudden you're down, you know, 40% after you just put another chunk in. You know, that's why, you know, prepare for the worst, you know, kind of situation. So, in my opinion, that's how I'd play it. I'd prepare for the worst, and hopefully you can get a little bit of a dip if the word isn't spreading too much, and you could continue to grab some shares there. 13.5 strike, go for it. I just think nobody knows, given there's been shares time. 13.5. 30,000 at the moment. Very nice. Congratulations. 20 cents a share. Phenomenal fill. Absolutely phenomenal cost right there. Very nice. Up 200%, and nothing even happened yet. Just too damn good, man. Just too damn good. I don't know. Everybody likes to watch people live. I only got like 6, 7 people watching me. I thought I was going to get like 50, 60 people in here. Dismal. What are you guys doing? Working? Terrible. Nobody works anymore. AMD 173. Woo! Look at that breakout. And as it was going down, I said, well, watch, it's going to go to this line, then it's going to go to this line. Look at that predicted path drawn out to perfection. And I said, hey, look at this line. Hey, look at this line. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. Can you see me now? Unbelievable. Goes from new lows of 76.5, and we're sitting here saying, oh, wow, they're really beating AMD up, huh? They're continuing to hit it new low. Meanwhile, what does it all come down to? It all comes down to you being stoic, right? This is what we spoke about in previous videos in the past, right? That this is what I mean when they say you have to eliminate emotion, right? You have to be completely stoic. And, you know, you got to stick by the analysis. Ping the Discord peeps. I don't even know how to do that. You're going to have to, like, send them a link or something. I don't even know. I'm on, like, a special screen right here. It's showing me, I don't know. It's showing me all these URL links and shit. I don't know. AMD, though, what a great call, man. I'm telling you, and that's what I mean. As it's going down, everybody's like, oh, wow, bad timing. Oh, they're beating it up. I'm down 25%. It doesn't matter, because the whole time you should have been accumulating shares and building a position, and now, boom, you're up roughly 100%. Even AMDL, right? That was the, whoops. AMDL. That's the 2X daily. Again, look at this. They beat this thing again, obviously, because it follows AMD, right? They beat it all the way down to $3 a share, $277. $277. Because it moved twice as much as AMD was moving on the sell-off. $277. $12.64 today. 1264. And look at the volume. How much more volume came in on the bounce up with AMD stock as opposed to was going out as we were dropping. This is why, again, it's all these little things. It's all these little things you have to pay attention to. Oh, yeah, 20 cents a share. I'm looking at you. We're going back. They are slackers. You're the best, most honest channel. Thanks to you, I'm finally in the green again. Fantastic. Very happy to hear you are in the green. That is huge. That is huge, my friend. Yeah, I should have did that in the Discord, shouldn't I? Right? That was silly. Amateur hour. There you go. Alright, again, anyone watching who is not in the Discord free for you guys to join. So you can come in, you can say hello. You can meet everybody. Of course, you can tell me how awesome I am. And then, you know, take it from there. AMDL, sub 3 to 12.5. How you doing? Oh, yeah. I'm so dry. Oh, my goodness. This chair makes a lot of noise, too. I gotta get a new chair. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a new chair. Let's see, what else we'll be looking at? How's Oscar doing today? It's okay, that's okay. Campbell's again, yeah, I was looking at this wedge and it just continued to drop, which is surprising because, you know, even though it seems like the revenue is like slightly ticking down, they do have a decent amount of brands under their umbrella. They do pay a dividend, right? I mean, you could view it almost as like a recession-proof defensive stock, kind of, sort of, right? You know, they got cans of gravy and soup and stuff, and really whether the economy's up, down, or sideways, you know, if you don't mind eating that stuff, you can grab a dollar or two, whatever it is, 2 for $1, I don't even know. Not anymore, right? You don't see 2 for $1 anymore, pretty much with anything. Maybe Bazooka. Shout out to my older men and women out there. Y'all remember Bazooka? That used to be the joke back in the day. Say, yeah, one day it's going to be $5 for Bazooka. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It is coming. What is my idea on HGraph at this moment? My idea is I have the mind of a champion, and I'm too damn good. And this is easy. About our friend Fubo. Yeah, Fubo's just hanging out. We're still waiting for this whole merger to hopefully get pushed. Look at the tightening. Look at the way it's bouncing, trying to stay above this support, right? And look at how it's tightening. So hopefully maybe over the next couple of weeks, we can hear this this news. And as long as no one says anything wild about potentially trying to step in and block this merger, then, as I said, in my opinion, it should go back really to where it was. So you should see Fubo pop to like $6, $7, $8. Also, you actually might see a lot of volume come in now that I think about it, because again, if they're saying that now this is Hulu, then if it gets finalized, then even if Fubo that day, let's just say it pops from here, right? Let's say it's here, boom, the merger goes through. It doubles, right? It goes to 7. What you have to understand is, again, people aren't looking at that saying, I'm paying $7 for Fubo. People are now saying this is Hulu and Fubo, and I can get in at $7. Again, we double that up, that's less than $2.5 billion. market cap, which of course is a drop in the bucket, especially when we look at something like this that just has space in the name and has a market cap of around 20 billion. So that's why, people talk to me about stocks like this, and then that's why I mentioned something like a Fubo, and that's why even back in the day, again, Fubo originally brought to you on this channel at $1 a share, and people were saying, yeah, really, you think it's gonna jump up to whatever, 2 or 2.5, whatever you're looking at? And I was saying, man, I'm telling you, it's a $4 or $5 stock. I said it time and time again. Said it's a $4 or $5 stock. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. They don't want us to own Fubo. Yeah. Arian Senator. RC, shout out. One of my thoughts on earnings, looking at the current ratio, 87% of companies beating earnings, is because they lowered expectations, or is it because all the companies are just so strong? Well, you know what it is? It's become a massive intertwined web, right? And that's why, like, as one company does good in a sector, it lifts pretty much even all of the competitors that it might have, just because, again, of the growing demand and the money going into it, and just the money changing hands between all of these other companies. That's why everyone's earnings seem strong, in my opinion. I know everybody's waiting on interest rates. I don't know about that. In my opinion, they have to keep the Fed funds rates up. And I know people are clamoring for that rate cut, and I just don't know if they could. Mr. Muhammad, do me a favor, buddy. I don't even think I know who you are, not to single you out, but don't just join the live stream and toss out a freaking symbol. Like, come on, bro. Come on, you don't pay me enough for that. Let's call it like we see it, right? Let's call it like we see it. What do you think, I'm on the clock? I didn't come here to work. Selling Google for more Fubo. That is a pretty risky play, in my opinion, but we know that Nick's a beast, so you go for it, brother. Godspeed. $1.78 average here on Fubo. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Deli, I believe you were in there, along with a bunch of other people, that morning, that pre-market, right, when we got that news. And that's actually when I was able to buy a handful of shares in my account for myself. And yeah, it was like... yeah, something like that. Yeah, dollars. Yeah, maybe around the same price. It was like $1.73 or something. But yeah, word got out, obviously, as we headed into market open, and then we just went up and up, up and away. You can see the Nasdaq again. This was a key trend line here. Let me back this up for you. Show you what I'm looking at. Look at that. Going from those lows right there in 22, connecting to that next low, and just coming up. You can see bouncing right there, right? Bouncing right there. So we got a key level, and you can see how we've gotten right back to that level, and it's just been slowly inching up and up and up over the last several days. So looks like the market wants more. I personally don't understand it, but looks like the market wants more. Basically, what I think you're seeing here is that a lot of people were kind of expecting the market to just tank and drop off a cliff, and it didn't happen. So people feel, the way I'm interpreting it, people feel, the storm is past, and, we're not going to have, a big drop or anything like this, and everything seems strong, so we're just on the up and up. The problem, though, is, again... the Nasdaq, in my opinion, really should be red. I know we got the some little positive tech news here today, but you're seeing the dollar climb up today. Look at that really big green candle today, bouncing, getting back above this bottom support trend line that we were watching for the last couple of weeks. And you can see it's really spiking up, probably on its way back up here to 98.95. So usually they say when the dollar goes up, stocks go down, in theory. And that's why, again, you see like Tesla, AMD, right, holding 4%. This entire list is practically red. IBM, Tech, green, right? ExxonMobil's up 1% only because oil's up 2%. These are red. Yields are green, right? So technically, all of this really means we should be selling off. And that's why I'm always hesitant when I mention option plays, because I know you all kind of understand that it's risky. But also at the same time, the problem is a situation like this, like even if you had like QQQ calls or something, like right around this time, you know, that we both know they can rug pull it and you can instantly lose, you know, a 40, 60, 100% gain that you had on an option. So that's why you really have to be in and out, unless obviously, you know, you're playing leaps or something. But I just want people to secure profits. I don't want anyone to really be left holding the bag too much. But yeah, I figured I'd point out the dollar, in my opinion. Again, looks like, look at that. Just up and up and up and up. So the sell-off may happen again at like 2:30 or like right at 3 o'clock or something for that power hour. Because you can see, again, we draw a little trend line, right? We go from the top. Again, the trend lines are basically the trend that the stock is in, right? So this is like our top trend line, so that's our resistance, right? This is technically like our bottom trend line, right? So this is our support, and you can see we're kind of in this downward trumpet here. Could even do something like this, maybe, you know, you go from like this low here, and you meet up across with that low like that. See, so you could look at it and say, if this was hypothetically a flash crash and we rebounded right back, then we could be kind of potentially channeling like this, and then we could get ready to pop up even higher going into the power hour at 3 o'clock. So we'll see what happens with that. Someone else was talking about Ampex, right? We put a buy on this one, I think. This one's been on the up and up. Let me back up a little bit. Yeah, this one's been on the up and up. Right, you had almost that straight up move, and now you have a little bit of tightening, a little bit of cooling taking place, probably going to meet up with the moving average, and then probably, in my opinion, pop up to double digits. Hit a high at 909 recently. Yeah, we looked at this one. I think we were like here in the downtrend. I don't remember, honestly. I really don't remember half the time. And again, I'll look at a stock, and I just go off the top. I go off the top. I don't need a script. And I know a lot of other people who do this, you know, they want to write it out. They want to make sure they're saying the right thing. So, Billy Bob, welcome to Nothing. We are happy to have you. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Now, apparently, every time someone reacts with an emoji, you're going to see Discord blinking down there, so I'd apologize, but I didn't do it. So they should apologize to you. Some CI holding. Maybe a personal question, but why did you stop as a financial advisor, and are you happy with the choice? Oof. Well, I did it for several years. My mistake was I remained loyal at that firm. It was 100% commission. So the only way I was going to get paid was to open accounts and, you know, second trade, third trade my clients and build assets under management so that I could then charge more in commission so that I can make more money. You know, other people who have, I guess you could say, not necessarily an easier path, but definitely less stressful. You know, if you are able to work on salary and commission, of course, at one of the larger brokerages, then even if you start low, right, even if they lowball you at like 50, 60, 80K or whatever, you know, if you're doing that plus commission, like you're probably still in an all right spot if you're not living in too much of an expensive city, right? But yeah, the problem was I just spent too much time in the wrong place, and I just had to get out of there. I guess I'm happy with the choice because it's a little less stressful, but unfortunately, it's basically the same crap, different day, right? Because back then, I would call people up out of the blue, and it's understandable if everyone you talk to doesn't just throw their personal information at you over the phone and open an account with you, and it's a little more understandable. So I would get aggravated because you guys can kind of tell the personality I have, right? I have a very analytical mind, and I see things very black and white. It's hard for me to be in the gray area. And it was actually frustrating a lot of times to speak to these people on the phone because, a lot of people just don't understand, and you can't. That's why phone sales, they say it's the hardest thing in the world. And if you can sell over the phone, you're probably a very good salesperson, excuse me. But if you can sell stock over the phone, then the saying is you can sell anything. So yeah, I just got caught up and wrapped up in it for too long. But again, going back, see, I go off on tangents. But it would be frustrating because all the stocks that we used to pitch performed very well over the years. And it's just aggravating also because not enough people listened to you, not enough people got involved. And now it's the same crap, just a different day, right? Because I'll make these videos and, I'll talk about the potential of a stock and nobody will listen. And then when it pops, people want to ask, oh, is it a buy? Is it still a buy? I don't know. You figure it out. I did my job. What about SoFi? Let's see how it looks. SoFi, same thing, just curling on the up and up, a little tightening, stepping down here, hanging out at the moving average. We have earnings, what'd you say, tomorrow? Tuesday before open? Yep. Yeah, we got SoFi and PayPal, you said, right? So, what are we looking for here? 804. And about 6 cents on the EPS. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give them the benefit of the doubt. Although the stock did run, I mean, now we're bringing in about 2.8 billion, we'll call it, a year, and market cap's up here at 23 billion. But if we're really rewarding and pumping any stock that comes out with decent numbers, right? If that's how we're playing this earnings environment, if that's what Wall Street's going to do, then yeah, you might actually, they might actually try to scare out investors, in my opinion. I could see this actually breaking the moving average, right? Coming down to the psychological point of 20 right here, right? That's right near the trend line. That's right near the fib. It'll break 20, in my opinion, potentially, and try to trigger out some of those stop losses, and people will be forced out before earnings come out. And then it's probably going to be, I'd give them an 80% chance to beat. And then obviously, if they are good numbers and they do happen to increase guidance or whatever, then you can see a potential pop here, maybe to this trend line of about 24 and a quarter, 24 and a half, we'll call it. That's why I love this channel, your honesty and your grit and my tangents. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you too. But yeah, sometimes, hit or miss with those Israeli companies, but that was one of the first things I did notice about the stock, I will be honest. But yeah, I just had a feeling, again, it's like sometimes I'm able to explain it and you guys will watch a video and you'll look at my analysis and you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, awesome, thanks. And, other times it's actually hard for me to explain. Sometimes I mean, it's going to sound crazy, you know, not trying to be cocky or conceited, but sometimes I just know. Sometimes I just know. And yeah, you just find yourself in the right place at the right time. And just like when I made the video, again, I didn't have any liquidity. I've been making these videos for you guys. I mean, what, you know, averaging what we'll say every other trading day for like the last 3.5 years straight, basically. I've been doing all this, again, this is for you guys. This is not for me currently. I mean, I was hoping the channel grew a little bit more, but as I said, these videos were for you guys because the H-Graphs, the Soundhounds, the Rolls Royces, the M-Bots, I never had liquidity in the last several years to buy any of this. And I could have immediately had liquidity if I just wanted to start charging. But again, that's what everyone else was doing right out of the gate. So I figured, you know what, instead of coming off like another run-of-the-mill freaking schmuck or whatever, who just, you know, starts up a channel, tells everyone to come into Discord, and then starts banging people out monthly, I said, you know what, let me show the proof in the pudding. Let me actually show these people who's who in my line of business. Let me show these people exactly how to do this and what level I'm on in comparison to my quote-unquote peers, if you will. And that's why now, again, once I showed in concrete proof, I have proven the success rate, and I have basically held your hand and walked you how to do this, right? I've been holding your hand for the last couple of years. You had your own personal financial advisor. If you didn't take advantage over the last couple of years, honestly, I'm sorry. That's your problem. It's not my problem. I don't want to hear any sympathy stories. And I'm sorry if I'm turning people off, but, you know, it's coming. The monthly fees are coming. I'm being upfront. I'm being transparent. So, like I said, if you've been in here following me for a while, I don't care what amount I pick. I don't want to hear, oh, you know, it's rough. I don't really have the cash. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Mint is live. Let's go. Thank you for the effort you put in these videos. Anytime, anytime. What about Novo Nordisk? You guys just gonna ask about random stocks. I don't even remember the symbol for that. Oh my god, Nova. It's Nova. Yeah. Yep. Well, actually, you should just do that, right? Am I burnt? I can't find this symbol. Gotta show them how the cow ate the cabbage. RMTI. Yeah, I'm burnt right now. I can't remember Novo Nordisk symbol, so just type it in the chat. I'm so burnt. I pulled an all-nighter. I'm on like 3 cups of coffee right now. Oh, what'd you say? RMTI? Which one's this again? Oh yeah, Rockwell Medical. Yeah, we saw again. We were looking at the drop, right, and then we got the headline about the extended deal or whatever it was, the multi-year contract, and I said, that's why I said, like, oh, 1.5 really should be a layup. First I said 120, and then I said you could potentially see 1.5. You could see it went up to 142. Look, we came down, right, slight upward little channel, boom, little drop, retest the moving average. But we technically, again, after the drop, we really should bounce and make higher highs there. I'm expecting, personally, a retracement back to the support trend line. I could reject once it gets there, but technically, in my opinion, it should get back up here to about $1.70. Wasn't Novo Nordisk, bro? I'm telling, yeah, right? I don't know. Sorry about that. Yeah, pharmaceuticals. again, we've been on the up and up. 2-for-1 split. You know, we've been on the up and up, and let me see something actually. When was this? That was third week of December. Miss on revenue, beat on revenue, beat on revenue. 11.97 again. 11.9, 11.97, 11. 315 billion. My goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I was always hesitant to buy pharmaceutical stocks, and of course, if you actually watch the videos and pay attention, I've been saying that for a while now under the Trump administration, so don't grind my gears, right? How about Avondale? Anybody? Anybody? Again, we looked at this one. Was talking about the potential descending triangle. I said, in my opinion, ideal entry price would be 6s, 7s. Stock comes down to 638, bounces back up to 11.5. That's why, in my opinion, if you're going to do a pharmaceutical, you know, you got to try to, you know, do a little swing play like this, or feed off some rumor maybe on a smaller cap. I don't know, in my opinion, if I personally would feel comfortable right now investing into something like an Eli Lilly or a Novo Nordisk or something like that. That's just my opinion. Again, whatever you do with this information is entirely your own prerogative. SMCI up 8% right now. Fantastic. Anytime, RMTI, anytime. Actually feel bad for the other guy. I jumped down his throat. What did he want to see? See, I'm too nice. I spoil you. We ride. Oh my goodness, what the heck is this? What is this? We ride shares rise after receiving robotaxi permit in Saudi Arabia. How many of these, bro? See what I mean? I swear, this is Lordstown Motors, this is Fisker, it's this crap all over again, I'm telling you. How many freaking robo-taxi, eVTOL, you know, AirPod planes do we need? They got all these companies now talking about getting into the robo-taxi business. And again, these are small pre-revenue up-and-coming companies. And you also have someone like Elon Musk who was talking about it before already. So that's what I mean. So if anyone's going to hit the ground running and start to immediately gain market share, in theory, it should be Tesla. It shouldn't be any of these other random companies. But, all right, they got a permit in Shanghai. Okay, great. Launches Southeast first fully driverless robo-bus operations at resort. China. See, look, they rose what? You know, 2 months ago on Saudi Arabia expansion. Now they're trying to rise it again on this permit. I mean, I guess it makes sense in theory, but 3 billion. 3 billion. There's nothing happening. There's nothing happening. Just so you know, this stock right now, Wall Street, quote unquote, is saying this company is worth 2.5 times as much as Fubo. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. Oh, wild. Wild. Again, I don't know the timeline. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, again, I'm not trying to beat you guys up, but I just laugh when people throw out random symbols like this, and you know, they're wishing upon a star that they're going to invest into some, you know, groundbreaking, world-changing company, when in reality, in the actual reality, you could have simply bought HGraph, you could have bought MBOT, and boom, you'd been off to the races, right? That's why it makes me laugh. I'm finding stocks, given my opinion, they're working out, they move 30%, 50%, 150%. A lot of them, again, over the long term, so all of you people out there dealing with real wealth, if we're talking about 6, 7, 8-figure profits off of an investment, again, a lot of them are working out over the long term, so you're paying half the amount of capital gains tax. I mean, I'm literally trying to check all the boxes for you. But yeah, I don't know. We ride, I don't know. Robo taxis, if you like them, go ahead, go for it. But again, in my opinion, I don't know. I feel like there's so many of these companies now. It's going to end up being like the EV stocks. And people fought me tooth and nail. They fought me every time I would do a video about Mullen, a video about whatever, Fisker. What was the other one? Polestar. And I was saying, they can't all survive. It costs too much to keep the doors open. The losses are too extreme. The stock should not be going higher. And what happened? They continued to go lower. Then they went bankrupt or whatever, got delisted. I don't even know what happened. I don't pay attention to trash. Hims, can we see the 30 on Boo? Thanks for the Novo Nordisk symbol. You were about 10 minutes too late, brother, but that's okay. I appreciate it. Hims, you're looking for 30. Hims really should have sold off, in my opinion. Oh, little note here, right, where I did a video talking about it crossing the resistance here. And that, in my opinion, I'd take a position, and stock went from 27 to 65. Just another feather in my cap. Yeah, it looks like it's fighting here at this trend line. Does look like it's upward, though. I mean, it really should drop, in my opinion. It really should come back down here to this trend line at 34 and change. It did get a little overstretched. They're getting sued, of course. We know that, right? Only a couple of things guaranteed, taxes, getting sued if you're a publicly traded company. There's only a handful of guarantees in this world. Deceptive marketing, huh? Now, we have earnings coming up. Yeah, everyone's reporting pretty much around the same couple of days, huh? 551 million in revenue, roughly, 15 cents. I don't know. Might get tight. Might get tight this quarter. The revenue seems to be strong. The EPS might be a toss-up. I do like Hims. But again, where did we look at this stock? I don't even remember. Yeah, it was over here. February 24. It was on this earnings release. When we looked at Hims, I saw the numbers. I said, in my opinion, whatever, 12, 13, I said I'd be a buyer. And of course, you see what happened. But I do still like it again. I would try to get it for a little bit more of an attractive price. And I know we had the dip here to about 40, and it's been slowly stepping and climbing its way up, and it's been kind of hanging around at the 50s. So I know it seems like it's so far off to get to the 30s, but in my opinion, it should happen. So I don't know, unless you really like it. I don't know. Your call. Your call. Any company rising on news because of permits from Saudi Arabia, I keep away as far as possible. Again, I guess it's technically good news, but again, these companies get these quote-unquote updates, but they're not there yet. That's what I mean. They're not there yet. And even like those EVs, that's what I mean. Something like Mullen would spike like 20% all of a sudden because it's like, oh, they showcased one of their cars. And it's like, yeah, that's great. Give me an update when, they sell 1,000. Give me an update when they sell 10,000 of their cars, right? What are you showing me? Oh, yeah, they're rolling it out on a freaking showcase. They just went public, pre-revenue, raised freaking $50 billion, and this is what they're giving us, a freaking model that they rolled out on a, you know, rotating platform, you know, and we're supposed to pop them 20%. Like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? These people are crazy. RepX. Exploration. Oil exploration. Well, it's tightening. 1 for 12 reverse stock split. It's tightening. Almost reminds me of LEU. Centris. You guys remember that one? Yeah, they've been holding about 100 and change. Acquisition. Huh. I don't know. See, exploratory drilling companies, it's a toss-up, right? Because obviously you need to get the update that they, you know, found oil or they're pumping out more than they initially anticipated. That's what's going to help cause the stock to break up and out. And of course, if they're currently filling up oil barrels and oil climbs in price, then that's going to add to the potential breakout as well. But, you know, I don't know. Trump, again, with the push for nuclear, drill baby drill, I don't know. In my opinion, this might be short-lived, right? Because I definitely see like the tightening that you might be looking at, right? If you want to play this from like a tech standpoint, right? So you see this tightening taking place, but the problem is, right, it's a symmetrical triangle, which means it's not bullish or bearish until you have the break. And you know, again, if numbers are in line and it doesn't do much, but then all of a sudden, you know, oil drops to $40 a barrel because we're drilling or because whoever signed a deal, blah, 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 right? Then all of a sudden something like this pulls back. Plus, technically, earnings results, in my opinion, seem to be kind of mixed. And, you know, reverse stock split a couple of years ago. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a buyer or something like this. Again, not to be a schmuck, I don't know where you people find these companies, man. LEU again. We did initial video over here at sub 40. Stock has completely broken up and out absolutely beautifully, hitting almost 251 from sub 40, yielding several 100%. Back to work, up 3K on HGRAPH. Congratulations, go back to work. Specialized in horizontal drilling. Energy deal. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe it does matter. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Look, you guys just throwing out. Just to let you know. All right. Let me explain something. All right? Let me explain something. Because you guys see someone streaming live, right? And you're like, oh, what about this symbol? Oh, what about Samsung and frickin' whatever, right? Let me explain something to you. Right? There was a saying we used to say to people like you on the phone, right? And that is that I, at the time anyway, was a top of the line financial advisor, financial analyst. And as the saying goes, only going to come to you a handful of times a year with one of those great investments. Right? Not a supermarket of stocks. That's what we always used to tell people. Yeah, I'm not a supermarket of stocks over here. I'm not going to call you every other day with another symbol. Right? I'm going to hand select Just a handful of stocks, and those are the ones that we're going to focus on. Those are the ones that are going to show you who's who in my line of business, right? And that's what I mean. That's why when you guys throw out all of these random companies, oh, this zombie stock might, get short squeezed soon. Should I buy it? Or like, oh, that other, oil company, whatever that guy was talking about. Like, yeah, like it could happen. You could make money, but like, why? What? Like, why would you even? Why? There are so many decent options out there. To UMAC, what is UMAC? UMAC, Unusual Machines. $2 million. Okay. I'm telling you, I don't know who finds these stocks. We're expecting 1.8 million in 2 weeks. Market cap 300 million. Okay, we're bleeding more than expected. Bringing in no money. $18 price target for some reason. Okay. 2 analysts. I'm going to climb potentially up to a whopping 4 million going into 26. Looking to close out 20. If they were doing this revenue, it'd be overvalued currently, in my opinion. I have light debt, which is good. Cash on the up and up, 5 mil cash. Free cash flow remained the same. I mean, good to see debt go down. Assets outweighing liability. 5 mil cash. From quarter to quarter, share amount just doubled. Right? The more shares there are, supply and demand, right? The more shares there are, the less valuable they are. Equity, 15 mil. Yeah, I don't know where you people find these stocks. Again, whatever. You got money to burn, you want to roll the dice, you want to buy something at 10 and, hope they get news of a contract and then it gets trending on Reddit and then the freaking thing's up at $48. Listen, more power to you. Go for it. The difference between you and I, though, is that, again, nothing's guaranteed, but in my opinion, quote unquote, when I talk about stocks like MBOT, HGraph, like I know they're going to move several hundred percentage points. And that's why you want to buy something like UMAC, roll the dice, try to get it to spike up to 30, 40, go for it. No problem. But again, if you just watch my videos and you took a position in something like HGraph, you took a position in something like MBOT, SoundHound, Rolls-Royce, right? You make several hundred percentage gains. Again, LEU, right? That was a nuclear company. Found it right in the symmetrical triangle. Stock went from $39 to $250. Work smarter, not harder. Selected LPX recently. Yeah, LPX, Louisiana Pacific. That was this is a siding company, a lumber company, wood products, if you will. We have earnings coming up soon, right around the same time. And again, this was a stock. This was one of the first stocks, really, that I looked at on my channel. And yeah, at the time, whatever, it was like 50 or 60. And I said, in my opinion, this is like $150 stock. And of course, you see the stock break up to about 1.25 almost. But I believe it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I posted my video, someone commented and said, hey, quick update, Warren Buffett just announced he took a position in LPX. So again, that was the first time that something like that happened, but it wasn't the last. Those of you who have been loyal and been with us here from day one, you have heard multiple updates of where I made the right call, and then we had billionaire activists basically confirm it, right? So Again, that's why I always said you can knock the style. Could I turn 1,000 into 1,000,000 tomorrow? Options guru. Nope, never claimed any of that. Past performance doesn't dictate future results. You're not going to make millions of dollars just because you're watching my videos. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. But you have someone here who, in my opinion, obviously, as I showcased it, thinks like a billionaire activist and mentioned multiple plays to you guys on YouTube and in the Discord before the Buffetts and who else was it? I don't remember, but before the other people took their position, right? Staking you for Kramer's lightning round. Fair enough, fair enough. He's a character, Kramer. They know nothing. Oh, he's a character. But again, see, that's what I mean. You look at how, like, his show is laid out, and you're asking to have low success rate, because he gets on and he wants to talk about like 4 or 5 stocks that he's looking at, but then he also has to talk about like 4 or 5 other stocks that had big headlines that day. And then he's got people calling in asking him about their stocks, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, again, that whole supermarket of stocks saying, that's what I mean. You're seeing the proof in the pudding, right? If we go back and forth, you guys throw all these random symbols at me, we look at 30 stocks, the success rate is going to be trash. If I look at 5 companies, 4 of them are going to work out. You understand the difference? And there's no point in waking up day after day and losing your hair and getting grays, stressing yourself out, giving yourself an ulcer, just to only be right 50 or 60% of the time. You only need one winner and full dedication, due diligence to make your year/life. That's true. It's true. How did I find HGraph? It was like an anomaly, it was like a solar event. Like, you ever see Interstellar? Like, I don't know, I saw a blob come through my window. It typed that in for me. It was wild. It was wild. I didn't know if it was a dream. People talk about the 4th dimension. It might have been the 5th or 6th, honestly. I don't know. But it was wild. But I found it. Mind of a champion. Stock up several hundred percentage points. Again, nothing even happened yet, right? Nothing even happened yet. That's how good it is. That's how good I am. Football will get paid a wholesale fee for every single one of Hulu subscribers when bundled with Hulu. Yes, that is what people are amped about. That's why I think, in my opinion, when we first heard the news that Disney approached Fubo, it didn't really look like a lot of people jumped ship right away on that news. So, again, a lot of younger investors out there, they might understand the reach of Hulu, know how popular it is. And, now they're looking at it saying, it happens to be a cheap stock as well, right? It's only a couple of bucks a share. So, younger investor might be sitting there saying, yeah, I'll buy 1,000 shares. I'll buy 5,000 shares. I'll tuck it away for the next couple of years. Might turn into a little powerhouse, a little streaming powerhouse. Right? I mean, if you really think about it, if it does even like 10% of what Netflix did, it was a decent investment, right? So, you never know. I saw on X, though, people were saying that Disney theme parks were empty. I don't know. I can't stand this stock. I have like a personal vendetta against Disney. I don't know. But something about me, something about it, I just don't, like, I would never feel comfortable buying shares of this stock. Because in my opinion, it should be back down here. And again, we did the update. This was, what, like a 50-year support trend line. Y'all remember that? That was like a 50-year support trend line that the stock broke straight through. And then look, it took like a week and a half, 2 weeks to get back above it. So that's why Disney looked like it was ready to fall apart. But I don't know. Now, people talking about, the ice raids and everything like that. So, I mean, technically, like we always say, men lie, women lie, numbers do not lie. So if numbers don't lie, and now we have less numbers of people in the country, then we may potentially see less numbers of revenue dollars going to Disney. LAC, bro, come on, we looked at this recently. Took a big hit today. Yep, spiked up, tightening into a little bit of a triangle, and then boom, we broke down instead of breaking up. But we know as well that this currently is following the price of lithium, even though they're not mining lithium yet. Potential supply cut expectations. This was China, right? Yeah, China lithium futures hit 5-month high on potential supply cuts of the key EV battery material. So when we got that news out of China last week, that's what, well, it wasn't last, it was longer, was it? That was only a few days ago? Wow, I feel like that was like a week and a half ago. Well, again, LAC, you know, if we're looking technically, we're looking here at our bottom line, if you will. 231. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this going live. I'm just gonna step away, I think, for a minute and just grab like some water and stuff, stretch my legs, but I'll keep it live until the close. I don't even care. But you can see here, you know, this might be kind of your support trend line, right? So we could come down maybe to about 260, 265 it looks like. But that technically would still be an upward channel, right? And we'd still, even if we come down here, if we bounce, we're still technically making higher lows, right? So we're still trending upward. But yeah, LAC, yeah, we're still some months away from hearing some positive updates. Again, you want to hear, you know, again, they're breaking ground and everything. The timeline is on schedule, right? Because that's what happened with who was it? ASTS, right? The launch kept getting pushed back and delayed, and the stock just continued to fall, continued to sell off. So that's basically what it is right now, right? You're in this up and coming phase. I think they were looking for what, like tail end of like 26 or early 27 to be mining lithium. And yeah, you're just kind of hanging out, going on the ride right now. I'm in the water utilities field. They sell a lot of self-testing meters and equipment. Okay. Meters are a good source of revenue. Yeah. LAC long-term hold. Yep. How about PBR? Petrobras? I know you're not asking me about Petrobras, right? Not the energy company out of Brazil. You're not asking me about that. There's no way you're asking me about that stock right now. Would you recommend leaps on any tickers got for MBOT? Well, I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know. I mean, you know, like $5 calls on Fubo could be awesome. But, you know, if the judge comes out and says, oh, no, we shouldn't let it go through because it's a monopoly, then the stock's going to drop down to like 2.25, right? So, you know, it's hard. It's hard to call. And again, you're talking about leaps, so you're trying to estimate where a stock's going to be, you know, 9, 12 months from today in a market that is consistently climbing, taking everything to highs. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be hard. It'd be hard for leaps right now. I don't know. Maybe Philip Morris, to tell you the truth. Maybe Philip Morris, if you have consistent income and you can, you know, average down and you are buying that much time, maybe something like Philip Morris, because it was holding like the 180s very, very well. And they just came in slightly light and they dropped it down to the 150s, as you see. So worst case, in my opinion, I'd say maybe like 120 could be your bottom, could be your support. But in my opinion, PM should hold up well. Again, they got the Zyn pouches. And, you know, it's not just traditional cigarettes, right? It's not just traditional tobacco. How about SB sitting there holding 420? Shout out. Spark them if you got them. SB's been holding 4, right? It was quiet at 360, 380. Everyone's probably like, oh, what's this stock doing? Boom, up 10%. Now you're up 10%. What are you doing? Did you buy the dip? You missed it? Ah, you missed it. You said, yep, you're talking about Petrobras. I don't look at stocks like that. Petrobras has been nationalized. I couldn't even tell you how many times. That's one of the last companies I would buy. I personally, that's why personally I'm always very hesitant about investing into a stock overseas, depending on which country it's in. South America, there's a lot of nationalization. Brazil, Venezuela, and even in Asia as well. People always come to me with these like micro cap Chinese stocks, like, oh, they make the the cap on this bottle or whatever the freak. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm sure you can find a sound, stable, financially healthy American stock, unless of course you're local to that exchange and you're buying just off that exchange. That's a different story. Siemens already makes an endoscopic robot, so not novel. Takes up an entire room, though. Yeah, again, the M-Bot was a little bit different, right? It's kind of just that robotic arm that we're controlling with our little Game Gear, our little Game Boy, if you will. And, a little bit of a more compact comparison as to what our buddy Scott just told us. I think it's going to be good, though. I think it's going to be good. And again, you've seen the volume has been above average, right? People are playing the breakout. But also, again, when we first looked at the stock, this was right around the time where we were going to get the update, right? This was right around the time where we'd potentially get that FDA approval for the commercialization of the Liberty system, and boom, the thing might spike up to 5, 7.5, right? We were talking about this. So it basically looked like everyone just piled in again right after the bull drop. We saw the climb going right into the new year. And I was saying, in my opinion, 2025 is going to be a good year for M-Bot, in my opinion. And boom, right out of the gate, the stock jumps up to 3. Has a big pullback, and now goes right up to top trend line. And look at that. Upward channel, slight breakdown, upward channel, and now we broke up. So now we're going to have to extend this line as well. Let me zoom in here for you. Extend this line out. That was at the top of the body, right? That went from the top of the body. I extended that out, and boom, you see that's exactly where the top of today's candle is. I am just too damn good at this. I don't even need to do anything. I want you to understand that. How far we've come on this channel, all of the phenomenal calls that I've made for you guys over the years. It has been years. I mean, I'm just too damn good. I am just too damn good. I don't know how much more proof you need, honestly. What do you mean they've been nationalized like they are technically a shell company, right? Nationalization means the government took control. X was a great call. Any others like this on your radar? Yeah, LPX. LPX. SCCO. Southern Copper. SCCO. LPX. Right? We speak about the metals, the materials. Alcoa. AA. Aluminum. Aluminum company. X was a great call. Thank you, Travel Nest. Again, X initially brought to you on this channel at $19.70. The company paid a dividend to own it. They got involved into a bidding war up to $55 a share, yielding over 150% return, plus dividends that could have been dripped or collected, your call, and it took over 12 months. So you pay half the amount in taxes. Are you noticing a trend here? Because I'm noticing a trend. You know what the trend is? You want to know what the trend is? I'll tell you. Come close. Come close. I'll tell you what the trend is. The trend is, I'm just too damn good. This guy's talking to me about RepX again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How's HRAF doing? Oh my goodness. Quick 41% day. Oh, they didn't believe. They didn't believe me. And this is why I said again, right? And you can call me a cocky schmuck. I don't care. This is why I said again. if when I started this channel just a handful of years ago, you guys have seen it. If I started this channel with whatever, 50, a couple of 100,000 in liquidity, you would have seen a self-made millionaire just off a handful of stocks just inside of the last, what, 3 years, 3.5 years? I think that's pretty impressive to grow your own account and get yourself up to 7+ figures. You know, again, people open accounts with 20K, 50K, and, you know, they want to make millions. I could have did it. I could have did it. Honestly, I could have did it maybe 2-3 times over by now. I don't want to get too cocky. I don't know. Marley throwing out those symbols. Supermarket. Working at the supermarket, Molly. Molly and me in the checkout line. Oh my God. See, look, I got Scrubs asking me if I'm awake. 2:30 in the afternoon, Monday. Stocks up, multiple stocks up several 100%. Someone just messaged me asking me if I'm awake. I haven't been to sleep yet. Am I awake? Am I awake? I responded and said, no, I'm sleeping. Dumbass. Unbelievable. Literally pulled an all-nighter again. Sleep schedule upside down. I was sitting here, it was like 4 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, 4 5 a.m., right? Pre-market's opening. And people right away were like, oh, MBOT's fine, MBOT's above 3. And that's it, man. That's it. The juices started flowing. I said, you know what? I'm going to stay up. This is going to be a good day. I'm going to be around. I'm going to talk to everybody. And I'm going to show you how great I am. Because y'all don't believe it. I seen them, but I don't believe them. All right. You guys watch HGraph and talk to each other. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey. Oh, yeah. It is 2:30 p.m. On the East Coast. Someone's messaging me like crazy. What's going on here? H graph. Too damn good. Too damn good. Coming up on Power Hour. Look at oil. Look at oil. Look at that. Complete reversal. Oh, man. I am surprised. I am surprised. Because I thought it would be going down. Silver goes green. No one's paying attention. Haha. Oh, yep. 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 That's going to bounce and go even higher. Yep. Dollar staying up, holding around 1%. Again, dollar goes up technically. Stocks go down. Down now, down over 100 points. Mm-hmm. Yes, we looked at SoFi. Earnings are a gamble, 100% a gamble. Please understand the risks involved. In my opinion, 80% conviction to the upside. In my opinion. IBM, hold. AMD, what a great call. Again, even if you bought early at 120 and you held on, I mean, you're up almost 50% here. I mean, come on. Come on. Oh yeah, SMCI. Oh yeah, we got some tightening taking place here. What was this high? 59.14 right across. Look at that. Beautiful. Bang. Whoa. Bang. Right? Look at that. Look at that. Uh 57, 57. Look at that. So we'll see how that plays out. That looks like a an ascending triangle in my opinion, which of course is bullish. Oh yeah. That is good. That is good. There's always a coffee mug on my desk. It's all I drink is coffee. Do it for you guys. Do they care? Do they care? They don't care. No one cares. No one's listening. Am I alone here? Am I alone? Shout out to our friend Gilbert Gottfried, who played the parrot. Of course, his name is escaping me at the moment, but he was the beloved parrot, Disney's Aladdin. I see you here. Happy to have you, buddy. Happy to have you. Here you go, SoFi. Alright, this is what I was looking at, okay? You missed it. Look, so you're going to come down here, potentially here, to about 20, try to scare people out, and then bounce it. If they beat earnings right here, you're going to 24.5, in my opinion, alright? The more you know. Da-dee-da. I like sitting here live with you guys. How come when other people stream, they make like $80,000 in an hour, and I haven't made $1 yet? What kind of black magic is this? MBOT back below trend line. Could be cooling off to gear up for a curl, but only time will tell. My man Skiff with the $2. What's up, buddy? Oh, wow. Wow. I don't even want to tell you all who Skiff is, but the fact that Skiff joined the stream and just gave me $2 and no one else did. That's rough. That is rough. What I'm seeing right now is one for the record books. Thank you, Skiff. I appreciate that, brother. You need to make more age-grade videos. A lot more subs be coming to the channel. I made multiple age-grade videos. The stock is up 400-500%. I don't know what else you want from me. And believe it or not, the best video, well, I should say the best stock that I spoke about that has yielded the most subscribers is SMCI, believe it or not. SMCI. I legit think we have like half the channel, right? So we just hit like 7,000 subs or whatever. So I truly believe half those people subbed up just because I was bullish on SMCI. And I am not even joking. So I don't hear much from them when I don't talk about SMCI. But you know me, I am wishing them the very best of luck. And Scott, I appreciate you at least trying. Yeah, you probably have to link your account or something to do that. I don't know, you thought they were just gonna, like, send you an invoice to your Gmail or something? I don't know how you thought that was going to work. Oh my, Scott! My man! Now that is a gentleman and a scholar. Absolutely fantastic. I love you, Scott. Appreciate that support, brother. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Yeah, we are in the green now. Everybody, right? And even me too now today. We're all in the green. Yep. What's SMCI doing out of curiosity? I want to see if it broke out yet. Eh. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Share the Discord link into Reddit communities. Yeah, go for it. I try to stay on top of everyone who joins the Discord. You guys see that? I try to keep the bots out. Humans only. That's right, LDP. We're letting it rain, baby. SMCI back towards top of potential ascending triangle. Let me check again real quick how BlackBerry's holding up. And again, I told you, sometimes like I get these hunches, right? That I feel like a stock is gonna move. And the issue with BlackBerry right now is like I want it to go higher, but I think it might go lower. So unfortunately, I don't really know where this break's gonna happen. Because again, they're really gonna need that catalyst. They're gonna need some big positive catalyst to force them out of this triangle, right? Because if we just stick with the current kind of motto around the office, if you will, well, the current motto is this is like old school, like grandfather tech that no one is really excited about. And what sucks about that is they might just break into the downside just because no one's watching it, no one cares about it, right? So they're going to need some sort of catalyst. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why, but something's telling me BlackBerry. What do I do? Oh, I could give you a heart. Nice. Wow, I clicked on the options. One of the options is put user in timeout. That is hilarious. Oh, man. Guess that's one way to handle teenagers with disorders or something, maybe. I have no idea. ADHD? I don't know. Keeping everybody on their toes. I'm telling you, like I've been saying, right? When in doubt, just buy Tesla. When in doubt, just buy Tesla. So I feel like there's just so many Tesla bros out there that, you know, if they see it at the open and it's red or it's flat, they're just scooping up shares. So that's why I feel like something like Tesla should be like half price, but it just continues to like hold this value. We were talking about in the past too about how this company misses earnings but somehow stays up, goes higher. Right? These other trending stocks that were growing nicely for us, like SoundHound, Hims and Hers, right? Another good example. Like, imagine those companies all of a sudden just started missing earnings like crazy. You really think they'd keep that stock up? Come on. Come on. Not a chance. Not a chance. I was also looking at the potential recovery in ITB. ITB. Yeah, see, I was looking for the rebound right back to that trend line, which is basically right where it hit just recently. And now you can see a slight pullback hanging out around this fib. So yeah, something like ITB, again, this is an ETF that tracks home construction, right? So it recently had this pop here last week on Restoration Hardware coming in with some decent numbers. But if those home builders stay green and are slowly ticking up, 1%, 2% throughout the next couple of days, then in my opinion, ITB is going to get back above this support right here of about 104, we'll call it. And then you're going to potentially see a run up to like 108, maybe right there, 112, believe it or not. So that could be something to potentially keep in mind for you. Just an idea. Again, back here is where I mentioned, in my opinion, I would look for the break on support, and I would do puts on ITB. And of course, that worked out beautifully. It's about a 25% drop right there. Just got to pick your spots. Just got to pick your spots. Oh, HGraph on the move again. Oh, look at the volume. Look at the volume coming in. And again, the average volume for HGraph, less than 1.5 million shares a day. So far, still with an hour to go, we're up to 6 million shares traded hands today for HGraph. Let's check MBOT's volume, actually. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I've been streaming for a few hours. I guess it's beating up my PC a little bit. Let's see, MBOT volume. Yeah, same thing. MBOT almost 4x average daily volume as well. 1.58 million shares. Right now over 5.5 million shares traded hands today. So, I don't know. It seems like the word is out. And we're dealing with some FOMO here with a couple of stocks, which of course were brought to you a while back on this channel, several hundred percentage points lower than where they're currently trading at. Just too damn good. So upset, can't trade HGraph on my platform. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's okay. We will continue to try to utilize the similar strategy and find more names for you guys. Bada bing, bada boom. Hit 64 and a third. Again, first video at 11.5 cents. Did an update at 8.5 cents. I was telling everybody to buy this thing, bro. Steam friends, people I play CS with. I was telling parents, family members. Do they listen? Nope. It's showing me like this circle over here. Like, what is it showing me? It's broken. Nano Dimension Israeli company. Yep, yep. Mom bought 2K. Hey, shout out to Mom. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. And again, people supposedly, the rumor is people are piling in. Everyone's expecting, some order to come in. So again, if everyone's just buying on rumor and we're seeing a lot of FOMO here, the fact that we broke up so quick. Again, the previous high before this was half this price. Right? What was it? Like 28.9 or like 29.3 cents or something, right? Was the previous high. Almost at 65. Right? So the sumbitch just doubled up and technically nothing really happened yet. Which is why I'm saying, like, now on this breakup, if, like, we get a big news update tomorrow, the stock might shoot up to, like, $1.50, $2 a share, honestly. And I'm not even trying to get your hopes up. I'm just being realistic. You guys know I'd rather under-promise and over-perform, but something like HGraph, the way this is moving, I don't know, man. I mean, this thing might really start rocking and rolling soon. Let's see, what else is going on? We got Rolls-Royce. How's Rolls-Royce looking today? Yep, hanging out in the 13s. Nice and steady. Nice and steady. And again, this is the OTC listed here in the States, right? If you want, you could buy RR listed on the LSE, the London Stock Exchange. Look at this, man. Initially brought to you here. The ball drops in 2023. I say they beat up Rolls-Royce that much. It's a freaking $1 a share. You gotta buy that. That's the Buffett method. It was in real-time action. The Buffett method. It was a brand name stock that was beaten down, battered up, scoop up those distressed shares. Boom, it's up 1,000% from that point. Now, again, would you have held the entire time? Who knows, right? Of course, it's all hindsight. But you understand the point. You are seeing the trend here where when we try to isolate certain situations at good prices and at good times, you see the returns. You see these 25, 50% moves. You see, again, look, just over what, 2 years, 2.5 years, 9, 10, 11 times your money. And that's why I'll laugh, because we'll look at something like this that, and again, I know this is OTC specifically, and I know, again, some international investors watching, you guys might not be able to take advantage of it. I understand, right? That's a specific situation. But in general, like everyone who is like in the States, who was watching my videos and found my channel, and I remember when it started to climb up here into like the 3s, and people were like, oh, I'm waiting for it to pull back, right? And then the next thing you know, it's like up here at 6. Then everyone's like, oh, I'm waiting for it to pull back, right? Meanwhile, if you just bought the frickin' thing, you'd be up 3x, 4x. Money, 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 money. HGraph, hopefully this can be like Ricey. So your Discord, $8, still could have got in. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. I remember, I mean, it wouldn't let me buy it in my account, but I remember moving cash over when Ricey was like 670. And I was like, yeah, it's, it's still a buy. Even conservatively, back to 10, right? You make 50%. And, yeah, I wasn't in a position to buy it, but, I mean, again, this was, in my opinion, something like that's like the closest thing to a quote-unquote guarantee that you could potentially get. It's like something like a Philip Morris even, right? Something that's like defensive. It's a brand name company. Like they're probably not going to go anywhere, right? So right now, Philip Morris all of a sudden dropped like 60%, 70%. If the business did not drastically change, then you're essentially buying a brand name company at a beaten up, distressed price. And that's what I mean, right? That's what happened with AMD. At 120, in my opinion, massively undervalued, a lot of potential. Stock immediately sold off 100, 90, 95, right? People, oh, what's going on? What's going on is it's on sale even more, right? It's on sale even more. It's the same business. The stock price just went down. Shout out to Grumblo, took some profits. All right, we see you, we see you. Ooh, we're running slow. Oh, look at that H graph. I love it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Oh, Discord is annoying. Hedging with some VIX options. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, you could do it. You can do options. You can do calls on VXX, which is the ETF that tracks the volatility of the S&P. You can just buy the VIX outright. And of course, we spoke about hedges as well, like gold and silver, to potentially hedge against falling stocks. And again, like we still, even though markets are climbing and hitting highs, we still have a lot of uncertainty, in my opinion, which is why things like gold and silver are continuing to hold their value and slowly continue to inch higher. But yeah, any way you want to play the hedge, you know, or even with the yields, right? I know a lot of people look at a TLT, right, which moves the inverse of the 20-year. We're running slow here. Yeah, so you can see, right, 20 years up, about 0.75%, we'll call it, and you can see TLT down 0.65%. So that's also another way to play it as well, because I remember when these yields were, what, like 3.8, 4.1, 4.2, 4.5, and I don't know how many other people, but I know myself, I was saying that we could potentially see 5.5, maybe even 6. But we did get above 5 for a little while, and that could be another potential hedge as well, right? If you think these yields are going to start climbing, which is going to cause stocks to go down, then of course you can inverse TLT, right? If the yield goes up, then TLT is going to go down. So there are a lot of ways to protect your account when it comes to hedge plays. But the problem is, it seems like 9 out of every 10 days we're just kind of on the up and up, and everything just keeps hitting highs, and everyone just continues to buy and talk about how much money they're making. So the problem is, if you do something like, you know, VIX option, VXX options, or something like that, you know, if your timing is off, you're just going to get burned. So again, you know, it might be hard to time, but that's why I used to say, you know, don't know what to buy. When in doubt, buy the VIX. And, you know, again, like here at 15.25, could we keep climbing and have the VIX go down to 13, 12? Yeah, of course. Of course. However, once you have potentially those couple of bad days, boom, all of a sudden the VIX spikes up to 27. Now it's at 36, right? And as everything is selling off and you're giving back profits, you have a position that is protecting you against the drops, right? It is hedging the rest of your account. That's why I always used to say diversification. Gotta diversify a little bit. And I understand that, you know, the biggest, most volatile moves are in tech, so people are just buying small cap tech stocks, or, you know, I'm sure there's people out there who like only trade Tesla options, right? Because the volatility is wild. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But also at the same time, you see how simple someone like me could make investing over a 6-month period, a 2-year period, right? So That's why I say, in my opinion, again, everyone has someone who has a story about how they got screwed in the market, how they burned an account doing options, blah blah blah, right? So that's why I always say, why not just work smarter instead of harder? And that's why I utilize the Buffett method. Just keep it nice and simple. Do you prefer cash or options as a hedge? You should always, always, always have some cash on hand. That is an automatic rule. That is an automatic rule. You go all in on, Disney and freaking Verizon, and then all of a sudden the markets start to tank. You're screwed. You got no cash on hand to take advantage, and you're just watching your account lose value. So you always, always, always have to keep cash on hand. And cash, I know they say like, oh, cash is a hedge. Yeah, like I get it, but remember, it's only really, it's only really a hedge if you know where to put it, right? That's what it comes down to. Times I got about 40 minutes to go. Oil staying up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was telling me I could have changed the latency option, so maybe that might help me a little bit on my end next time. We'll see. Yeah, SMCI technically above this top trend line that I was watching here. Look at that, almost straight up to $60. Oh, there's the breakup. Oh man. It's like I know what I'm talking about. I'm always honest with you. Forgive me, I'm smoking a cigarette out the window. If anyone beeps or anything, you gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it. I called the breakup. That's why, again, those of you who are, struggling to do options, again, something like this, that's what I mean. Like, you see a potential pattern setting up, and then, like, as you're climbing up here into the 58s, that's when you would buy your 59s, your 59 and a halves, your 60s, right? And you would play that breakup and that breakout. Take the power hour going into the close for the next 30, 40 minutes, get in, get out, right? Flip and secure that profit going into the close. And again, even if it's only whatever, 10, 15, 20%, you wanted 80%, 200%. Listen, I get it. We all want to make 500% returns. But also at the end of the day, if you made yourself a few bucks, as we said, 10, 15, 20% in and out, those are nice base hits. And all you have to do is do that consistently, 7 out of 10 times. Keep that consistency. And your account's going to start growing like a weed. Again, I told you, a lot of people, I'm talking licensed brokers on Wall Street, struggle to show their clients 10 to 15% for the year. For the year. That is a fact. Yeah, you're vaping. All right, shout out. Shout out to the vape. Again, I don't know if it's worse. I don't know. It sounds like these kids who are vaping are dealing with some issues here, so might as well just go for the real thing, yeah? Got out of my SMCI calls, thought they were going to keep it below 60 going into earnings. It's all good. It's all good. You know the way the option prices readjust and come back, again, like, we're breaking up 40, 50 cents, right? So these puts are getting eaten up right now, right? They're down 20, 30% real quick. So in my opinion, just try to time like an intraday dip and just rebuy those calls. Did you make a profit? Then you're still a winner. Exactly. Exactly. Again, don't overthink it. You're sitting there behind your phone, behind your screen on your PC, and you're pushing a couple of buttons, and boom, you just made like, free money if you called it correct. And all you had to do was push a couple of buttons. So that's what I'm saying. If you made the right call, and again, like you buy 60 calls here and it starts breaking up, now it's at 59 and a half. Holy crap, I was right. I'm going to be up 35%. Boom, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a phenomenal return. Boom, in, out, base hits, bang, bang. That's really how you have to trade options. And again, we're talking trading options, right? Securing profits, that's the number one priority. Growing buying power in the account value, that is the number one priority. If you want to play it more for the longer term, though, right, and you want to buy leaps on something like MBOT, again, that's a different type of play. That's essentially investing into the stock without technically buying the shares, right? See, so right there, you saw it live, right? I mean, we just did that live, right? Where I drew out that pattern not too long ago. I called the ascending triangle and the breakup coming, and you can see the stock's up like $1 from that point. In my opinion, it's easier than you think it is. People just get greedy. That's really what it comes down to. And who's reporting today? After close, we have Waste Management. Should have a good report. I mean, you'd think they pop it up, but it's not very volatile, so that really wouldn't be a good options play. Rambus, believe it or not, Rambus used to be a stock that would always disappoint. So what do you have? You have about 37 minutes to go before the close. If anyone's listening, you could potentially have some earnings plays today. And in my opinion, I would play Rambus puts. I would play Tilray puts. I would play Whirlpool puts. You got UNH reporting tomorrow before the open. That's going to be a hard one to call because you don't know how quickly. Oh no, what did we say? It would be the next quarter maybe that they would start to be impacted. So I don't know. That one's a toss-up. SoFi before the open, I would say calls in my opinion. PayPal as well, calls. Boeing toss-up. Even UPS randomly. I remember I used to buy calls and they would beat and the stock would get slapped. Uh, Maybe P&G calls before the open. Tomorrow after the close, Starbucks puts in my opinion. Seagate, is that Seagate Technology, STX? That I would buy calls on that, in my opinion. Cheesecake Factory has actually been doing decent, but again, I wouldn't play restaurant stocks. Again, their profit margins are getting eaten into with the hyperinflation, rising cost of commodities. Caesars Entertainment, what's that, CZR, I think? That should be a good one. Yeah, something like that, maybe. We have a potential wedge forming. Uh, in my opinion, Caesar, I would buy calls, but that's just me. Getting earnings, 100% a gamble. Please understand the risks involved. The birdies are chirping, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Yes, sir. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that, going basically right back to that gap down. Look at the low right there. The low right before the gap down, 174.53, 174.70, and then we dropped a point and a half. Yep. How's the NASDAQ looking? Still kind of trending down. That actually looks like potential head and shoulders. Dow might break down. Man, they're all moving that way. Actually, maybe not as much on the NASDAQ, but on the Dow and on the S&P, it looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Possible. Possible. Might give us a little dump here in the last 30 minutes. Oh, what's that? Treasury. Expected to borrow 590 billion. There you go. Why not? Why not? Personal check be alright? Might have to wait till the end of the week to cash her. I must turn my air on. I'm sorry if this makes noise. Give me 2 minutes. Dollar still up 1%. Yield stayed green. Yeah, maybe I'll hang out for a little bit after the close too, because I'm curious, like Rambus and stuff. If any of you guys jump into puts and play that, let me know. Let me know if any of you jump into that. We'll watch it live together if you want. Don't care. I buy stocks. I don't know. I'm feeling Disney puts. Disney puts, maybe. Maybe. I don't even know. Do you guys, like, do you hear the AC? I don't even know. I keep checking my Discord. Oh, why, you're hearing my sound? It used to, yeah, I don't know. When I opened OBS, it used to turn it off. How about, I got an idea. How about I just mute Discord? How about that? How about that? Uh, Betting on Tilray puts. Nice, very nice. I'll go with the AC. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Pretty warm today. This weather is random. Random. The other day it was like 70 and windy. Now it's like just 100, sweltering. It is getting rough out there. Oh, looks like we're bouncing a little bit. So that is not a Head and Shoulders. Might step up though. We're in this upward channel. They might break it like the last 15, 20 minutes. Again, you can't only go in one direction, right? And that's what I mean. Like we just keep pumping and pumping. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Flash floods, yep. Yep. Got to be careful out there. And there's our random big break. Basically right down to that trend line. Oh, I love knowing what to do. Oh, bounce right off. Nice little bounce right there. Trying to get back to that moving average. Let's see. So this close on this candle below the moving average might cause it to break. See how it reacts. Yeah, that's the second channel I'm starting. Trend lines by ASMR. Back-to-back rejections off that 20-day. It looks like it wants to go lower. Fight, fighter. SMCI fighting for 60. Yeah, right. Probably get mad donations over there. Oof. What a call. Breaking beautifully up and out. SMCI highs of the day trying to close out up 10+% after remaining dormant for how long? Right? That's what I mean. You get impatient, everything else is moving. How come this stock I bought isn't moving? And then when you're not looking, boom. One announcement, 10%, back to the psychological level of around 60, and now we're a player again. Oh man, I can't believe I stayed up all night, man. I feel like crap right now. Yeah, Macy's. Yeah, Macy's sucks. Yes, in the last 20-30 minutes, this is where the big boys start dumping chunks. Which part of the world? I am in the US of A. Put monetization on. It says it's off right now, so I have no idea what that means. But I wanted to do a live stream with you guys, so it is what it is. Candle usually means it's gonna go down. It just go up. Yep. Yep. Just looking for green today. Yeah, what did we say? Tilray puts, maybe? Rambus puts? Rambus RMBS? Unless they changed their symbol from the last time I looked. Oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, and for the record, like back here when I started the channel, people were like, "Oh, Tilray, CGC." I said, I don't know if I'd buy any of these weed stocks." Ugh, painful. And what was the other one? Rambus. Rhombus. We've been on the up and up. Huh. 140 to 160. Wow. And what are we expecting? 167. Oh, very nice. Came out of 2020 rocking and roll. Yeah, margins spike up. We brought in more, we made less. Hey, appreciate that. LDT. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Mm, like 700 mil. So we're at like 1.8. Stock's actually on the up and up, it looks like. I like the operating income increasing. You can see the gross profit was slightly less on 5 mil more, and it all came out of the cost of goods sold. Yeah, I don't know. I'd still say Rambus puts actually, but they actually improved from many years ago. It's like the Dow trying to climb up. Yep. 13 minutes. Well, 12, I guess. 12 minutes. S&P might fight for green. There you go, essentially back right there at what looks like could be a double top about an hour ago. Let's see if it breaks up, breaks right through. With the same trend line, right? You're looking at like here. So I see a couple of points here. Could go green. Could go green. People talking about Nvidia in the Discord. I would talk about it, but it's been overvalued for years, so there's nothing else to say. Oh yeah. Oh, what a day. What a day. There it goes. Stocks only go up. That's why I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy myself. I'm sitting here eating cotton candy right now. Mm, mm, mm. Mm-hmm. That is a sweet treat right there. Get the volume coming in. Stocks only go up, baby. Mm, mm, mm. See, cotton candy is one of those things where you don't have it all the time. And then when you have it, you're like, wow, this is really good. I should eat this more often. Tilray puts. Oh, no, not Tilray. The Rambus. Rambus puts. Oh, yeah. Popping out of that channel. And you know why? Because stocks only go up. Continuing. Oh. Oh. S&P down 2.5 points. Fighting. Fighting for that green. Good oil. Up over 3% now, above 67 a barrel. Everything's just chunking up. And like I said, this is what I mean. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, right? Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Because we had the dollar climbing, again, still up 1%. These yields actually went higher. This was like 0.5 and like 0.62 or something before. So we continue to climb up with the yields. We continue to see the dollar climb up, yet all of our major indices are following as well. So that is why you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Thank you, LDP. I appreciate it. Much love, much love. Yep. Stocks just want to continue to go up and up and up. Some caffeine. My chest might explode if I have more caffeine. Oh, we just gapped up. Yeah, see, you usually, again, see, the gap up usually means it pulls back. Okay, we are off to the races. S&P green, S&P red. That was down about 140, 150. We down about 70. Yeah, look, we gapped up and we're just continuing to climb here. That tells me we still have buying coming into the close. Look at that volume coming in the last couple of minutes. I mean, we usually see that trend, but we have buys, not sells today. Yep, yep. I honestly believe we should end the year down, honestly, across the board. I really do believe that. But again, what I'm worried about is that we just keep climbing it, and we get that reverse market crash that people were speculating about, and then all of a sudden, it costs $37 for a loaf of bread because money's worthless. That's why I remember saying like a year and a half ago, like we actually have to like drop this market big, bring it back to reality, readjust it, and then we can bounce it back. T minus 2 minutes. Lock in those trades. Yeah, I don't know. We gotta pull back, and again, I mean, if you guys own shares of, some brand name stocks and markets continue to climb and you keep making money, then yeah, obviously that's great. More power to you. But that's why I still say right now, I'd be a little skittish, and that's why again, I say like a simple rule, like always try to keep some cash on hand, try to diversify a little bit, be aware of any potential hedge plays and what you might have to, position yourself into if markets start to drop. There's ways to make money as the market sells off, we know that, and we know that stocks, we used to say stocks go up like escalators and go down like elevators. So, usually puts are very cheap, especially in this type of an environment, because we just continue to trend upward. So the puts are dirt cheap right now, literally pennies on the dollar. And that's why if you can position yourself and prepare for a potential bad day, bad week, bad month, you might be up even more than right now as we continue to climb. The S&P fighting, there it is. Look, it just has to. It just has to. Greedy bastards. Just has to. Look, look. Look, 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 look at the bot. Look, look. Oh, gotta love it. You have got to love it. SMCI. Got the close, people are saying. 60. %. What'd I say? What did I tell you, huh? What did I tell you? Nick. If only there was someone an hour ago who... Well, if you had calls, you probably made money no matter what, so it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. YouTube is not receiving enough video. Uh-oh. Viewers will experience buffering. Don't know what that means. Bill Rambus. Meet or beat or miss. Yeah, you got some buffering. I don't know. That just opened randomly. And sorry about the buffering. That popped up out of nowhere. However, we have been streaming live for what, like 4 hours, so maybe that's why that popped up now. Yeah. Oh, it's gone. Nice. Hopefully you have finished buffering. Yeah. Yeah. Again, yield staying up, dollar staying up. I just don't like it. But that's just me. I have been wrong before. Too early to start drinking? What time is it? Shout out to my boy Skiff. What do you got there, Skiff? A couple of cold ones? Oh wow, I see the delay on the other screen. Still me talking about SMCI. Alright, we'll hang out for a minute. Just curious to see these Rambus numbers. I guess we could just pick up where we left off tomorrow. I guess I could jump on for an hour or two tomorrow and go live again. Yeah, maybe early on. Channel Nonstop Comedy. Anything for you, Nick? I live to serve. Rambus. Show me potato salad. Up. Oh my goodness. Fake news. This is fake news. Yep. Rambus Q2 Rev 1722. Wow, really? I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. I'll tell you what. 53 cents. Oh, so they missed on EPS. Yeah, see, right, and that's what I was looking at before. Right? That's what I was looking at before. You brought in an extra 5 mil, but your margin went down. Right? And even here, from 23 to 24. Right? You technically jumped up revenue from 460 million to 550 million. But your income went down, so something's out of whack over there. They need to do a little restructuring, in my opinion, but technically, this stock should be down. This stock should be down. Great end of the day for HGraph. Let's check HGraph real quick. HGraph closes up above the 60-cent mark, hits 65 cents. 65 cents. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Initially brought to you on this channel, 11.5 cents. Next update done at 8.5 cents. You have no excuse. No excuse. I don't want to hear any excuses. Even you people out there overseas are telling me, oh, I couldn't buy it. They wouldn't let me do it in my account. That is no excuse. You get your ass out there and you buy those effing shares. Amateur hour. I'll tell you what. Lord, give me the strength. Give me the strength for these viewers. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Volare. Oh. Sounds like a fat dump. What's happening with Samsung? Yeah, we'll get to that, I guess. Sound down 4%. Yep. Yeah, we spoke about that before. Probably on its way to 1080s. 1080s. Oh yeah, Samsung. What's their symbol again? Samsung. Do we not? Do we not? Am I just losing it? I'm losing it. I am losing it right now. Really nice U-turn taking place here. All it took was one person with money finding this thing, and it took off to the moon. Are you talking about HGraph? Brother, if I had the liquidity I deserve after all these winners, I would have been that guy who took it to the moon. You were getting there either way, all right? We just didn't know yet if it was my whip or his. We just didn't know. Korea sketchy like Hyundai. Yeah, you know, again, I mean, I know if we're kind of generalizing the whole Asian area, I mean, I guess we could say that probably Japan would be the safest. But I don't know. I'm worried as well. I mean, I hate to talk politics, but I'm personally worried about I still feel China and Taiwan. I have a feeling that's gonna become something, and I do think we might see that test uh, dropped on our desk under this administration. I'm not exactly sure if they want to wait, but of course, this is speculative opinions. We're not behind the scenes. We don't really know what's going on. Especially if you're here in the States, right? We have no idea what's going on. Oh. If you're here in the States, you don't even know if the sky is blue. Alright? We'll leave it at that. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows. We all know who the real Captain H-Griff is. Damn right. Let him know. Go on the mountaintop. Like I said, it makes me laugh, because I remember someone in the Discord posted like some other schmo who, honestly, again, not to be, cocky, arrogant, but wasn't too impressed. Wasn't too impressed with the person. And, we're talking about millions of subs, and somebody was like, oh, yeah, it was during the lockdowns, people were doing a lot of trading and whatever. Like, he called one stock and it ran up, so he got mad popular. How many stocks have we called? Right? How many stocks have we... And I'm over here drawing out lines. I'm telling you, like, almost to the exact cent where it's going to pull back, what level you got to break, where it's going to break up to, if they drop it, where it's going to drop down to. So, where's my millions of subs? About to start playing the victim over here. Jump on X, start tweeting at YouTube. What are you guys? Are you hating on me over there with the algorithm? Hate is real. Favorite underrated channel. Ah, yes, hello, thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Rhea had that Chinese friendly president. Yeah, again, I don't... see, that's the problem. Again, that's the problem with international companies. And, it doesn't matter if, you're talking about China, something could pop off. All of a sudden, all those equities start selling off. So now might not be the best time to buy. But also, again, as that other person earlier, I'm sorry, but you mentioned PBR, Petrobras, again, energy company out of South America. And that's what I mean. Something like that, you got to worry about nationalization, right? If you invest into a stock overseas, Eastern Asia somewhere, you might have to worry about some potential turmoil popping off over there. So that's why American equities will always ring true, because obviously I guess you could say we're in that free capitalistic market environment, but also there's really not many outside factors, right? If you think about it. Right? We look at a stock like Dutch Bros. Remember that one? The drive-through coffee company that's supposedly taking Starbucks' share. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're going to keep growing, opening more stores, generating more money, consistently beating earnings, then the stock is going to go up. Right? Like, that's it. End of story. Unless they issue, a bunch of shares. But you understand what I'm saying. That there's not going to be like some random story, where, I don't know, it's bioengineered coffee beans, so the government's taking control of Dutch Bros. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about any of that nationalization or anything like that, which is why most international investors invest here in American companies. Because it all comes down to mass psychology, you know, how the market feels about the stock, how are the earnings, how's the guidance, right? We talk about these other stocks and it's like, oh, you know, the government might nationalize them. Oh, the China might attack Taiwan. Oh, Russia might invade over here, like, you know, so now you got to worry about all these things. Just keep it simple. That's what I always say. Just keep it. It's supposed to be looking at Rambus. Took me off on a tangent. Oh, it's up 2%. Reports rise in income. We're up 2% right now. Okay. Revenue, net income rise year over year. Product revenue up 81.3 million, 43% year over year. Very nice. Generated record cash from operations of 94. Yeah, so I guess this is trumping the EPS miss, apparently, right? It's all about how profitable a company is until it's not about how profitable a company is, but that's okay. Q3, 87. All right, wait. So this quarter, record product revenue of 81.3 million, up 43% year over year. Rambus expects Q3 product revenue between 87 and 93 million. Really? Sees Q1 licensing billing between 58 and 64. Q3 royalty revenue of 60 million. 115, 111. I think right now it's like 80 and 90, isn't it? I'll have to double check that. Yeah, see, EPS actual 53. I think they were expecting like 58 or something. Attributes Q2 strong performance to its chip business, DDR5 memory, increased demand for high performance computing, AI infrastructure. And this is what I was saying earlier about how the rise in AI and the fact that there's all this tech demand and there's all these contracts, all this business, all this building, right? And all this networking and hooking up that needs to take place now. Essentially, almost every company, like from A to Z, that could be involved will now get a piece of the action, right? Even if they don't get a big piece of the pie, they're still going to get a couple of crumbs from the fallout. So, American tech, baby. That's what I've been talking about. But honestly, I expected Rambus to not hit that mark. But obviously, if anyone owns shares or bought calls, congratulations in the moment. Technically missed EPS, but is okay. Rambus up 4%. What was the other one? Tilray. I know it was like 60 cents, but just out of curiosity, let's see how they did. Tilray not moving. Nothing yet. Rambus with the surprise. So it almost seems like in this environment, again, with the whole AI demand and these super servers and everything, it legitimately seems like you can almost throw a dart at the board when it comes to tech stocks, and you'll probably make money. And as you see right now, we just had a gap up there in Rambus. Stock up 5.5% right now after hours on a revenue beat. Slight EPS miss. Looks like good growth, though, quarter over quarter moving forward now into Q3. So, justified little pop. I said put, so of course I disagree with this move, but it is what it is. No use crying over spilled DDR5 memory, am I right? You guys want to talk about anything quick? Let me know. Remember, some dweeb was tweeting about AMC years ago, and they probably have 3.5 million subs right now. Spread the word. Got MBOT up 200%. HGraph up about, I don't know, 400%, 500%. I don't know. I don't own any of it. It's all for you. All for you, Janet Jackson. Thanks for everything. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I could hop on for an hour or two tomorrow. Do a little live sesh, maybe. Financials, I would pick my spots with financials. I don't know if I would necessarily just buy like GS or JP Morgan. I don't know if I would personally play it that way. For a while, again, SoFi, excellent call. Stock was hitting new 52-week lows, $6. A lot of people were jumping ship saying the stock's going down to 4, 3, they might be done. I was saying to load up. I was saying I'd be buying heavier down at 6. So SoFi is a specific financial that's been growing nicely. And of course, PayPal. I always talk about PayPal. In my opinion, PayPal is significantly undervalued. That stock should be up like almost 100% from where it currently is, in my opinion. Maybe get some sleep. Yeah, all right. Try to get some sleep. So we had MBOT moving pre-market. Everybody was pumped, so I just rode that adrenaline wave right into the caffeine. I went live. I've been sitting here live for what, 4 hours? Something. Do it for you guys, not for me. Not for me. Tilray down. Hey. It's gonna make me go to the website and crap. I'm too lazy to do that. When it updates it, we'll look at the numbers. Tilray currently down about 2.5%. Again, when this stock was like $4 or $5, I said, I don't know if you could trust it because because it's technically nothing proprietary, right? If you think about it, it's not like you can't like what like they got a patent on the plant, like you can't. And also, honestly, we're seeing like the rise of synthetics, and now it's almost legal in a lot of the country. So I mean, you could literally just go to like one or two of the closest stores and probably just get something from behind the counter. That's why I don't know how much volume, how much real revenue something like a tilt. Oh, jeez, something like a Tilray or a CGC could do. Da, da, dee, da, da, da. Let's go back to Rambus real quick. Oof. You might just have to buy essentially every tech name out there. That might be the strategy moving forward here. Especially if we just continue to inch up, just up, hey, new high, hey, Morgan, hey, new high, yeah, why not? Sure, new high, yeah. I almost have an inkling that these people feel that the rise of AI is going to like double and triple some of these companies' revenue and intake. So they might just be honestly just accumulating shares of almost every stock out there, just kind of hoarding. Just a random theory. Anything else we're talking about? Speak now, forever hold your peace. But back below the line. Still above this channel top line though, right? It's right there. Ended up closing almost exact, well, almost 4x volume. Again, even after the move from 1 to 3, market cap 100 million. Market cap 100 mil. We're talking about roughly 36 million shares in the float. That's why it can really take off, pending what comes. Right, yeah, this 65. SMCI maybe. Still going. Right? Bang. Look at that. Worked out perfect. Worked out perfectly. That's why I say all the time, like, yeah, again, you saw me do this one live right here at SMCI. So even if I jumped in and just played that last hour of the day, if I jumped in SMCI calls when I saw what I saw, again, I would have made at least a quick like 15-20% minimum in and out, bang bang. And you can see we're above the psychological level now of 60. And it might just keep going. Again, we were looking for a fib, what, like 6160 or whatever, and we have that key level about 6630, 6632 or something like that. Do you expect a rate cut this week? No, I don't. I don't personally. They shouldn't. They shouldn't, you know, and again, I spoke about this on a couple of different occasions. I just don't. They just printed too much money. They just printed too much money. And I also feel like that a big reason why we're seeing these quote unquote record business and revenue and profits coming in from these companies is because everyone had to jack up the prices so much because of the devaluation of the dollar. I don't even think it was, you know, people are going to say, oh, tariffs and all this. Like, yeah, like I get it. But the main driver was the mass printing of the dollar, in my opinion. So they increased the money supply by like 25%. So the markets have just been consistently climbing up. But even right now, like this S&P is like almost 6,400, right? But in reality, without the mass printing that they did just over the last couple of years, like the real true value is probably like 4K. You know what I'm saying? We're probably at like 4K. 44, 4,800, you know, but we're up here at 6,400, you know, 30, 40, 50% above quote unquote real value because we're valuing it in a devaluating currency, if that makes sense. That's how I feel. And by the way, there's also a timer up here that's telling me how long I've been live. I kept saying we've been here 4.5 hours. We're at 3 hours and 17 minutes. So a little off right there. A little off. We got 16 likes. Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. I like NVIDIA though. Let's look at NVIDIA. Let's see what it looks like. Up. Oh my goodness. Look at this stock. Look at this stock. And they bring it here like that was enough. That's what I mean, right? We spoke about this. We spoke about the gap fill here, and we spoke about the gap fill here that we needed to come down to. I mean, look at this. Out of control. Out of control. And again, here, like split and didn't even see that big of a jump. But yet we're continuing 4.3 trillion. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? $4.3 trillion. And that story is true back in the day. It was a little after I started at the firm, and a buddy of mine was upgrading his PC so that he could play like StarCraft 2, I think it was. It was right around that time. And like we said to each other, like, oh, we should buy shares of NVIDIA, you know, because everyone's going to need a new graphics card and everyone's going to have to upgrade their PCs. And it just slowly grew from there. They continued to gain more and more market share, the gaming PC, the custom PC market, and then everything began to utilize their chips because everything now had a screen on it, right? So now they're using the chips in automobiles. Now they're putting the chips in frickin' refrigerator displays on the door so you can see inside and stuff, right? All of a sudden, right? All of these healthcare machines and whatnot, imaging. I mean, it just completely took off, and I don't even know. We'd have to go back. Like, yeah, we're not even... Oh, man. I mean... Yeah. Like, legit. Like, we're talking back here. I'm not even joking. We're talking back here. I was telling people to buy it. At the time, before the splits, it was $8.50. About 6 months later, it was up to like 25. And obviously the rest is history over the years, but I knew it was the stock to own, and now you see why. But 4.3 trillion, I mean, come on, let's be serious. Let's be serious. Even our other larger tech companies, again, regardless of what space they're in, but even our larger quote-unquote brand name, biggest tech companies out there, biggest American business in the sector, you know, they're not trading at that type of valuation. So I'm sure people are involved, and obviously they're looking at this run, and they don't really care whether they deserve it or not. But I just hope they continue doing what they're doing, and Wall Street keeps the stock up for everybody, because apparently now it's like completely tied to the S&P. So if it goes, all the indexes go, and people are heavily invested into an NVIDIA, and they're heavily invested obviously into the other companies that are partners of NVIDIA. So if they get bad news, the others are going to follow suit. So I just hope they continue to ride this momentum for everybody, because again, the correction really should be like down here somewhere, and it hasn't really happened yet. This was nothing. So I don't know. It's almost like taking off a band-aid, right? Just rip it off. You should just do it now, get it over with, as opposed to just delaying the inevitable. What time is it? 4:30. It's been about 3.5 hours. All right. I don't want to talk to you people anymore. I'm gonna go, but appreciate the support. Appreciate the donos. Thanks for staying with me if you hung out for the last couple hours. Appreciate that. Yeah, but appreciate everyone's time.